Hello. If you want to support us here at The Contemporary Gentleman, you can buy into our Spy series, links below. And depending on when this was recorded, we may or may not have an Instagram and or Patreon. If we do, links are below. Cheers. Alright, so I have adjusted this to where it looks about the way things do to my eyes. I can't really see more than what I can see with my eyes, and I can't really see less. So here is the regular stiletto on full bright. Okay, so in fact the camera's seeing things a little bit better than me as far as the grill over there on the left of the spot. Now shining it at the spot. Okay, I'm illuminating some of the house. Again, it's a little hard for me to see, and then of course over here, pretty easy. So that's the regular one. Again, kind of shining it around, shining it above, okay, and there you have it. Now, going to the Pro. Okay, so, I mean, obvious difference here, right? Like, for sure. Don't see way more of what's going on. So, very nice. I'm not sure what else to say. It's pretty good. More than acceptable. Now, I'm expecting a lot after that little performance from, oh, where is it? Alright, so now here's the real big daddy. We've got the Stiletto Pro 2. I mean, it just slices right past any of it, really. I mean, to kind of compare it to the 2 again, or the Pro regular, I mean, there it is, slicing it right through, all that, and then, so definitely white hot. I mean, when I shine it right on that spot, it cuts through pretty good. Now, the difference doesn't look as crazy on the camera. I guess it's not, but I mean, you get the idea. So, I mean, there you have it. Hello everyone, James Donaldson here, and I'm doing another kind of quicker video, gear related for you. Kind of staying away from my normal criterion structure, but I'm going to be covering the Surefire Stiletto. So, if you want some more information on all three, stay tuned. So rolling in here, of course, as normal, objects supplied by a third party. What you need to be aware of is that, I mean, there's not a lot to it. Now, what got me on this was my Streamlight micro USB just pissed me off one last time, and I thought, you know what, I'm pretty interested in the little stiletto, and so I want to give it a try, but I'm pretty enticed by the other two offerings, especially as the Stiletto Pro 2 has just come out. Which is a great light. And it's kind of funny how all this worked out. So just kind of, as soon as I got this, a friend of mine was like, hey, you know, why don't you check these out? I bought the one and then decided I didn't like it and got the Stiletto Pro 2 when it came out. And I was like, awesome, thanks. So checking them out, trying them out, they all kind of have their different purposes, but it's kind of funny how it's panned out. So for starters, the just the regular one, let's dig into that. So the regular one has only about 650 lumens, very little candela. I'm going to roll in all the specs with these pictures because I don't want to just read to you. You can look them up on your own as well. But so anyway, it is polymer bodied, and the clip on it is not set up to reverse. It's on there, and so what's kind of neat is it can clip to a hat, but at the same time, it would be kind of nice to have the clip reversed like the other two, because then it's a slightly less conspicuous sticking out of your pocket. Now, is that the end of the world? No. And what I like about this is the polymer. This is very lightweight for a large flashlight that is quite formidable compared to lights of a similar size. And the other interesting thing is, while it looks huge in all the pictures, when I got it in person, I was kind of surprised how small it was. I was not disappointed, I was pleasantly surprised. And what I found, that laying it next to the Streamlight that I've been everyday carrying. It's really not. Like, it's like 2.5 streamlights wide, not that much longer, and really not that much thicker, especially when you think about how it kind of sits idle in a pocket. So I've actually found that carrying it around is not a big deal. Now, sometimes in a pair of shorts, it's a little hard to get around to grab my wallet or keys, but I'm not grabbing those things very often. And so having this flashlight handy has actually been fantastic. Also, comparing it to the other two, where it has the least lumens, something to consider, and I try to think about this when I upgrade gear, think about upgrading it or downgrading it, is when I'm thinking about a light I'm carrying every day, I'm not trying to compare it to the brightest stiletto, the Pro 2. I'm actually thinking about how much brighter it is than my Streamlight that I had. I mean, it was tops like 50 lumens or something like that. I'm sure I'll put a correction somewhere up here. So it actually is much brighter. And what I like is, I actually like the shape. I thought it would be weird at first, but again, it's kind of funny because like the MCX, when the MCX first came out and for years after, I was so disinterested in it. Couldn't have cared less. So it was kind of the same thing with the stiletto. And now, once I kind of looked into them, was a little curious, I was like, oh, actually, that's kind of making sense. So it's very ergonomically gripped, and I actually do like the shape of it over other just round flashlights. I saw someone's video on like, why is it shaped this way, and even at the end they were still complaining about the shape. I don't know, don't buy it. I don't know if they're trying to be funny. Maybe their crowd gets it, I didn't get it, whatever. The point is that I actually like the shape a lot. I also like that there's a button on the back and a button right here. And I actually use this button probably the most. I also like that they're programmable. So if you're unfamiliar, when you hit this button right here, and this is true for all three of them, it starts with either the dimmest, and then goes, whoop, I left it on too long and then it turned right off. So dim, brighter, okay? And if you want, you can use the programming button to reverse that, where you start off bright, go dim. In a lot of situations, I don't need all the lumens right off the bat. And so I just need to turn on, and then when it's on, I don't remember if it's 2 seconds or something, then it turns off after you hit it. So you don't have to cycle through every time. And then, of course, if I want all the lumens, I get it pretty quick. Now, the back button is more, they call it the tactical, or so, I don't know. It's a button on the back. So it just goes straight to bright every time. Now, the two ways you can program it are you can have it be constant on, or you can program it where you have to hold it. And I kind of did that for a while, but the way I am with a lot of my lights right now and actuations, even if I'm going to temporarily have it on, I still have the constant on. So kind of like weapon light, present, on, off. You know, it's pretty easy once you get used to it. So also, I mean, I think this is a good thing, and it's probably on purpose, but it's a little hard to hold down and hold it steadily down while you're trying to do your thing. Whereas, like, it's very easy to just click on, and then you're doing your thing and click off. And it makes its change as you press the button in. So it's actually very fast response versus if it was mechanical, it may be more as you let it out making the change. So those things kind of apply to all of them. They charge fairly quick, which I appreciate, and they're what is it, the mini C, the mini USB, whatever, like a lot of phones now use. So I appreciate that they're charging the same way as my phone. So like if I go on a trip, I am just taking one charger for the most part. So anyway, getting on to the next. So then the Stiletto Pro, and so it's all metal, makes it heavier, which I don't mind. It's interesting because with the clip reversing and not reversing for this, the clip stays where the weight is. So when you clip it onto your pocket, all the weight just kind of teeters on the edge there, and it's good. This is has a little bit more momentum as it moves. Now, depends on what kind of pants, how tight your pockets are, that kind of thing. But it's an interesting thing about the balance of this. Now, this is about twice as heavy, I want to say, around 4 ounces. I think it goes from 2.8 to 4. Again, I'll roll them in. Weights somewhere up there. Maybe this will be the second time I roll them in. Anyway, you can reverse the clip, which actually is nice because you can clip it onto something, have it shine down. This is going to be more lumens, so up to 1,000. So, of course, really bright. and all the similar features. So this is, and I'll have pictures in, not that much bigger. So what it kind of comes down to is, if you wear shorts, you know, like I wear, yeah, I kind of wear short shorts for what some people would call them. I don't call them that, I call them shorts, whatever. But anyway, the point is that, you know, my clothing isn't as loose fitting. Sometimes I don't want the weight of something bulky in my shorts. So the lightness of this is actually kind of nice. Now, if you wear jeans all the time, you know, maybe you live more north, maybe you just wear jeans all the time because you like to. Maybe you don't give a shit about how things are flying around in your shorts. You work hard, I don't know, whatever you wear. The point is that while there's more weight moving around, it's not that much more noticeable. And if I was never in a situation where I wanted something lightweight, I would probably skip this and go straight to this. So kind of getting to the buyer's guide portion of this. This is kind of in the middle. Now that said, so yeah, reversible. It's just got kind of a couple of things going on with it than the Stiletto. So Stiletto Pro 2, bright AF. I mean, 35,000 candela. It's up there with the X300s that I'm going to be doing a video on. Or I posted it first, in which case, so it's a video I've done a video on. Anyway, there's really not that much else difference either. So kind of going back to my use and my buyer's advice is, again, if you're wearing jeans like all the time, I'd probably just go straight for the top shelf. The interesting thing is I went on a family trip to Dallas. I had to fly. We weren't checking luggage. So didn't take a gun or anything. So I looked at, this would be my weapon. It's a little bigger, a little heftier. It's all steel. And it does a lot more brightness. So it can serve a defensive purpose as far as me seeing things. And then also holding it, using it as a weapon, things like that. So out of the three, this is going to be the most formidable weapon that I could get through airport security. So where I'm going with that is I wore it all weekend in my jeans, and at this point I'm like, if I'm going to do that, I may as well just do this. The weight is more, not that much more. And again, just with the features and everything, the brightness, I really like this light a lot. It is bright. It does get a little hot, but I mean, all lights like this do, so that's nothing crazy. And so it's kind of the point where this is just a backup light lying around. If I'm just kind of concealed carrying with my shorts, I'm going to use this. If I'm wearing jeans, I'm probably going to use this. Maybe this, but this is really it. Now when I'm doing my military operations, I'm using the Stiletto Pro 2 for sure. When I need white light, I need white light. Another feature that these all have that I really appreciate is there is a disable button. So again, for military operations, you don't want negligent discharge of anything, definitely not white light. So you can basically shut it off, and that way if it's bouncing around with your gear, if it's on your kit, whatever, you're not going to have a problem with that. So a lot of these features culminating with the shape and everything kind of coming together makes me really like all three of these. So the game kind of comes down to if someone says, okay, what if you can only have one? I am probably going to do one of these two, maybe this one a little smaller, just for situations where I need something with a little smaller footprint, if I could only have one. But I would actually really consider just having this. And maybe it doesn't work in my shorts all the time, so I throw it in a back pocket instead of a front pocket. I would try to make this work. Maybe that's something I'll try doing. But for the time being, I'm just going to say if I can only have one, it would be this one. Because as soon as I'm out of shorts and into jeans or in uniform, I can carry in a pocket up here. I mean, this is it to me. I would skip the Pro and go to the Pro 2. Now, if somebody said you can only have two, I would have the regular Stiletto and the Pro 2 easily. Now I do, of course, as I always do in my light videos, I like to talk about price last, because I think in many cases it's the least relevant. I understand it is relevant. I'm not saying it's not. But let's kind of look at, anyway, you've heard my spiel before. Getting into price. I know this is a bit obscene. I know. So if you're going to factor that in, and you want to go with the cheapest one, this is a great light. If it was my only light, I would still probably take it on military operations. It is a hard polymer. The fact that it's plastic does not worry me at all. So 650 lumens is still a lot, especially for handheld light. That is more than acceptable. And honestly, a lot of the time, I do use the lower settings. So, you know, at the end of the day, if you want to go inexpensive, I think this is priced really well for a what it is. Now, I know people are going to talk about Streamlight, or God forbid, Olight, or some silly thing like that. I get it. You can buy bargain lights. They're all going to perform well down here. It's when you get up to here that you see those distances spread out a little bit between performance. I don't want to be a snob. I don't want to say you shouldn't buy cheap just to buy cheap. Well, let me rephrase that. You shouldn't buy a light just because it's cheap. Now, if you want to save some money, I've been dirt poor before. If you're dirt poor, I do get it. So I'm not saying don't ever do that. But if you can save a little longer, buy one light once. I wish I wouldn't have wasted money on that $30 stream light. So that just is what it is. Now, I don't think I have much else to say. Again, if you just want to say, spend the least amount of money, I really like the Surefire. Now, I know, again, when it comes to competition, Streamlight has a similar thing, all that. Streamlight's kind of... I've lost faith in Streamlight. I think their switches are not very good for their weapon lights, and I still use some of their handheld lights. I really like the one I'm blanking on, which I'll roll in right here. But I still like that light a lot. I have several of them. They're very good for a $40 light. But when it's kind of what I use to just have something around or have something available, save some money. I also like them because they're not rechargeable, whereas all these are. And I think there are downsides to that. So I guess what I'm saying is this is a video about the stilettos. If you want to talk about the competition or tell me in the comments, hey, I bought X because it's cheaper. Okay, well in that case, why didn't you go buy a Maglite for $10? It's kind of my response. It's like, don't tell me you bought it because it's cheaper when it's not the cheapest light. If inexpense and low cost is your only thing, then don't tell me you bought a Streamlight because I know there's cheaper. Go buy an Amazon special. Go to Cabela's, Bass Pro, buy one of their cheap little lights. So I think that's why that statement is a bit silly to me, because that's clearly not your criteria. I think you need to be honest with yourself. I can be honest with myself. I like Surefire products. However, I don't want to be a bandwagoner because I've worked for companies that released new products, and the company was like, we're excited because it's a new product from us, and you should be excited too as our employee. And my answer was, I have questions. And when some of those questions weren't answered, I had a race with my boss to see if I could find a new job before he fired me. So he won the race. The point is that I'm not all about just loving a product because it's from a company. I like a product as it stands on its own merits. So without rambling anymore, Surefire Stiletto, I've given you my thoughts. Hopefully in your search for information, I have told you some things you needed, wanted to know. Especially love it when I'm giving information that no one else has given. Just want to be relevant. So, this has been James Donaldson with The Contemporary Gentleman, with, of course, a long-winded gear interview. Until next time, keep your composure.